Hello and welcome to Chapter 7, which is on finding area and volume of both 2D and 3D shapes. This is a rather long chapter. The first half of the chapter is going to be on 2D shapes, and the second half of the chapter on 3D shapes. There'll be a lot more shapes than you had learned in elementary school. You've probably seen them, but you may not know the formulas for all them. So, first of all, a polygon is any closed figure in a plane, which means it's two-dimensional, that's made up of three or more line segments that intersect at their endpoints. So basically, straight lined shapes. 2D, obviously, as we mentioned a moment ago. So a circle does not classify as a polygon because the sides are curved. And there are a lot of different polygons. We're going to focus in on four-sided polygons for the first part of the chapter, and that's called a quadrilateral. Quad meaning four, and lateral actually meaning sides in a way. So these are four-sided shapes. However, there are actually many different four-sided shapes, as you see below. If you draw just a regular four-sided shape, it's called a quadrilateral. But there are 6 specific types of quadrilaterals which are shown below, and throughout this chapter, we're going to be working through each one. The one that we're focusing on today, as you can see from the title, is going to be the parallelogram. Parallelogram has 2 pairs of parallel sides. They have a lot of markings here, so the lines mean, the arrows mean parallel, and the dashes mean equal, meaning congruent or equal length. So on this one, like the top and the bottom are going to be equal length, the left and the right are equal length. We're going to work our way through our other shapes. There are 3 main types up top. So again, a parallelogram, 2 pairs of parallel sides. A trapezoid has 1 pair of parallel sides. And the third one is a kite, which does not have parallel sides, but it has sides that are the same length that are next to each other. And these shapes link downwards to get more specific. So a rhombus is a combination of a parallelogram and a kite. So it has the kite where the sides are congruent, and it has the parallel sides from the parallelogram. That's what makes a rhombus. Another type of parallelogram is a rectangle, which will have the parallel sides. It'll have the same length sides, but it also adds in the corners right angles. That's what that symbol is. And then the most specific, most famous quadrilateral is the square, and it has a combination of everything above it. It has parallel sides, same length sides, right angles in the corner. It has everything combined together. The trapezoid does not work its way down. It's its own little thing here because it only has 1 pair of parallel sides, and that's it, while all these other ones have 2 pairs. So we're going to work our way through it as mentioned, but today we're going to focus on parallelogram, which makes this the easiest section. And sure enough, it says it right here, a quadrilateral with opposite sides parallel is known as a parallelogram. The area of a parallelogram, area equals base times height. And using our formula, using our skills from last chapter, area is capital H. That's why we said don't use capitals the last chapter. The base is lowercase b, and the height is lowercase h. I'm going to draw a picture of a typical looking parallelogram, and you should too. The base is down here, and the height is straight up and down at a right angle. So that is the height. So I'll flip color real quick. A common trick is going to be right here. This, if there was a number here, this is not the height. So the height is straight up and down at a right angle, but this right side here is slanted. so it is not the height. Question 1, find the area of the parallelogram. Step 1, we're going to write our formula. A equals BH. Step 1, formula. That'll be a little repetitive tonight, but as mentioned, when we get to other shapes, these other shapes have different formulas for area. Some of them do. Anyone below a parallelogram will have the same. So rectangle, rhombus, and square are base times height. But the kite has its own formula, and the trapezoid will have its own formula. Next step is to replace the variables with the ones we know. We don't know the area, but we know the base is 12. And the height, I'll use parentheses, is 14 because it's got to be straight up and down, which is what they give you. I'll write replace known variable. And now we solve it or complete it. 12 times 14, I'm going to go on the side. I'm going to go with the 14 first, but it doesn't matter. 8, 28, 0, 4, 1. So is that 1, 6, 8 down here? So 168 meters squared. So I'm going to write solve with units squared. And the reason is, way back when in elementary school, you basically find out there's 168 squares in here. If this was overlaid on a grid that was 12 across and 14 tall, you would have 168 total squares inside. And that's one of the simplest ones. Find the area of the parallelogram. This is a parallelogram. So it would be formula first, like we just said. Now the base is not written here, but this base down here is going to match the one above because it's one of the properties, as we've shown, that the top and the bottom would have the same length. So 4 times, and our height has to be straight up and down. Usually that's drawn inside, but this is the same as drawn outside. So 4 times 8 1/2. Area equals, and we're going to get our answer in square feet. Keep in mind the shape itself. When you just find the area of the shaded regions, this part here is not part of the actual shape. To multiply these, I may have to go on the side. I'm going to do that because I have to do 8 1/2 times 4. You might be able to do that in your head by distributing, but if you're unsure, you can do our old school, very simple multiplication of fractions, which is make it improper. Cross simplify, can do by 2 here. And now multiply across, that will give me 34. So the answer is 34 square feet. Letter B. We have ourselves again a parallelogram. Looks like parallel sides, and it tells you it's a parallelogram up top. Area equals base times height. Area equals, now notice the base does not go straight across here. This parallelogram is just tilted on its side. You can envision just rotating it back. If you turn it, the 2.5 would be the base, and then the height, if turned, will just be 2. You can go on the side to do decimal multiplication, but in all honesty, you should probably be able to do this one in your head. 2 1/2 doubled is 5 feet squared. Moving on. Find the area. This is a parallelogram. Again, we're looking at the shaded region. This extra part is not part of the shape. It's to guide you in some of the dimensions of the shape. Area equals base times height. And some people look at this and they're like, wait, it has 3 numbers. You do not multiply all 3. You follow the formula. Area equals the base. The straight left and right base is 11. And then the height, some people are like, wait a minute, what do we grab? We had gone over this just a few moments ago. The height must be straight up and down. The height is not at a slanted height. As a result, the 10 is slanted. It is extra information there to fool you. The actual straight up and down height is 9. So this one is 11 times 9, so it's 99 inches squared. Number 5 is a tricky one. It looks super easy. It is not. The directions say find the area in square inches. Now notice it is actually in feet. So what you need to do is convert units first. So 7 feet, we should know there's 12 inches in a foot. 7 by 12 will be 84. 2 feet at 12 inches apiece will be 24 inches. Now we follow our rule. Area equals base times height. We place our known variables. The base is straight across, which will match 84. The height is straight up and down, which is 24. And then we're going to get our answer in inches squared. I'm going to go on this side and do some longer multiplying. 4 times 4, carry the 1. That'd be 33. Next row the 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. Don't forget, don't be fooled by that extra 1. It was from earlier. Boom, carry. Boom, carry. 2,016 inches squared. If you multiplied 7 by 2 first, you would have got 14. And then if you're like, oh, I got to make it inches and multiply by 12, you would not get the answer right. Because you don't multiply the answer by 12, you have to multiply each of them by 12. So that's 2 groups of 12. So you have to convert units first. That will definitely be a tricky one on the test. Hopefully that was helpful, and we'll see you in class.